Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. Rhina Valentin, your host de Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That's right. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at Bronxnet TV or like us on Facebook at Open Bronxnet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget to follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. So our first guest is a Bronxite who draws from his Taino and Puerto Rican roots to speak, teach, and celebrate his indigenous heritage. And this year he will be honored as the 2018 New York City Indian of the Year by the Thunderbird American Indian Dancers. And joining us to share more about this wonderful honor, we welcome Native American lecturer, author, and poet, Bobby Gonzalez. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you for having me on, Rhina.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was taken aback when I received that letter saying, you are Indian of the Year. I said, whoa, wait a minute. This is really remarkable because it's an honor for me personally, but also for our people, the Taino, the native people of the Caribbean. The Thunderbird dancers who have been around for more than half a century are mostly from the north. They're Iroquois, Hopi, Navajo. And this is the first time they've selected a native person from Latin America to be Indian of the Year.
It's interesting, like you just went right into lecturer mode, into storytelling mode. No, it's beautiful. No, we need to, even myself, you know, unfortunately that history has been stripped of us. And it's really nice to have people like such as yourself restoring it and educating the next generation. And so let's talk a little bit about the different tribes. And the Tainos representing the Caribbean and what that means to you in being honored this year.
Well, very often I am asked, Bobby, how can you be a Native American? Your name is Gonzalez. And I said, well, more than 90% of the native people of the Western Hemisphere come from Latin America, Central, South America, and the Caribbean. And we, the Taino, are the natives of the Caribbean. That includes Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas. We were the ones who discovered Columbus. But that's another story for another day. And
right, it wasn't the other way around.
Oh, no, he was, actually Columbus was lost. He thought he was in the Indies. In those days, that was China and Japan. And he was carrying with him a letter of introduction to the great Khan of China. So when he arrived in the Caribbean, he said, okay, these are the Indies and these people are Indians, and the terms have stuck.
Interesting. That's good. I didn't even know that. So just out of curiosity, where are you obtaining these historical facts?
Well, first of all, I go to the original documents going back to the 1500s, sometimes in English, sometimes in Spanish. I also do a lot of traveling and sit down and talk with native elders, and they tell me their stories, which often conflict with the accepted histories. And I put that all together. Oh, by the way, there's a native protocol. When someone tells you a story, you have to ask permission to pass it on. If they say yes, you go out and share it. If they say no, you keep it to yourself.
So who do you go and ask this permission from?
I ask them from the elders who tell me the stories. And some of these stories are centuries old and they're passed on from generation to generation.
And so who gave you permission?
Well, so
like inquiring minds.
Okay, good. So I went, recently went out to Michigan. I sat down with some Ojibwe elders and they told me stories about their encounter with the Caribbean. And I said, can I tell that story? They said, yes. And they told me 500 years ago, they would go down the Mississippi River from Michigan and visit the people in the Caribbean and trade. And I said, I never read that. There's a lot they haven't told you.
Interesting. And so how do you validate the stories, though, based on this person being an elder, or is it just their perspective? Like, you know, how do you gauge that?
Well, one thing which I really love about indigenous heritage or culture is that we respect everyone's stories. So when people tell us, oh, you know, the human race originated in Africa, and we say, fine, that's a great story, or in the Garden of Eden. And I said, well, that's a great story, but we have our own stories. And we didn't come across the Bering Straits. We've always been here. So that's very important, to listen to other people's stories and respect them. And never say, you're wrong.
Got it. And that's, it starts right there with respect. And so, you know, your book, The Last Puerto Rican Indian. Look, we've got this thing wanting to make an appearance here.
Yes.
I know,
Hi,
live and
guys.
let live, but you know, we got to keep it moving. So, The Last Puerto Rican Indian, just the title itself, what does that mean? The Last Puerto Rican Taino, right? Is it?
Okay, the whole title is The Last Puerto Rican Indian, a collection of dangerous poetry, because this poetry challenges the reader to reconsider all they've been taught throughout their lives about the Taino and other native peoples. And The Last Puerto Rican Indian, well, I tell potential writers, if you want to write a book, great, but you have to grab people's attention with the cover and the title. And that title really caught people's attention. Said, wait a minute, but we're still around. And they pick up the book and read it and hopefully purchase it.
Right. Well, I wanted to plug it in because you've just been making a lot of noise and just restoring that ancestry within our bloodline, right? Even though it exists and it's a part of who we are, it's just we're not really taught this in school. And so we rely on individuals as yourself to go around and teach it to the next generation. And you have, and now you're being recognized for that. So let's talk about the Thunderbird and what they represent, because I understand they've been doing this 55 years, and this is their 40th anniversary.
Right.
How is it 55 years in their 40th anniversary?
Well, it's the 55th year of the dancers.
Right.
They went around performing and educating groups, but they didn't start the powwow till 40 years ago.
Okay.
And it's held every year at Queens County Farm Museum, and you can see their website. It's located at 73-50 Little Neck Parkway. And I'll be honored on Sunday, July 29th at 2 p.m. If you've never been to a powwow, they have Native American singers, dancers in their native clothing. They have arts and crafts and food for sale. You can interact one-on-one with Native people. And what's going to be great about July 29th is they'll stop the powwow and they'll say, okay, we have a special announcement to make, and they'll bring me up and they'll make the presentation.
All right, and so the presentation, is it like a formal presentation? Is it like a tribal presentation?
Well, every year it's different. So let's see what happens this year. I was told, Bobby, I wanted a previous year and you have to dance around the fire. I said, wait a minute.
Oh man, that sounds
It's
exciting.
90 degrees and I'm dancing around a fire?
Oh my gosh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, and they wrap a blanket around you. I said, okay, let's see what happens this year.
Oh my goodness, what an honor. Congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming here and sharing it with our viewers.
Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to a return visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Always, you're always welcome here. Bobby Gonzalez, the last Puerto Rican Indian. All right, once again, Bobby's presentation ceremony will take place Sunday, July 29th at 2 p.m. And that is the 40th annual Grand Midsummer Powwow at the Queens County Museum. And for more information, you can visit Thunderbird American Indian Dancers WordPress. Okay, so we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear what the Bronx River Art Center has in store for the summer. Don't go anywhere.